Hey everyone, it's Matt aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to take a look at two of the biggest texture mods on Xbox One, and these are some of the best graphics mods out there, I think. I mean, one of them is called the Graphics Pack. There's been more and more graphics mods coming out by the day, it almost seems like, and there's more and more being ported from PC to Xbox, but I figured I'd take two of the biggest ones and compare them, give a little summary, show some screenshots, and just some video of each mod in action. So if you're in the market for a new texture pack and want to know what's out there, this might be a good video for you to check out. So if you enjoyed this video and if it helps you out at all, definitely leave a like and feel free to subscribe as well. Do a lot of Fallout 4 and Skyrim mod videos on the channel, as well as helpful Xbox videos and other fun gaming videos. But that's enough of housekeeping. Let's jump into both of these mods, look at some quick summaries, and then also get into the comparisons. So if you watch any of my Skyrim mod videos, you'll be pretty familiar with Skyland already. I've used it for pretty much the entirety of all of my Skyrim mod videos before this, and it's one that I just love using. The main benefits of Skyland, specifically this one, Skyland All-in-One, it is a 1K version of this mod, but it does include a lot of things that you don't really have to add. As complete as Skyland All-in-One is, or at least I think it is, there is things you can add to it and make a big difference. And we've seen that in a lot of the mod videos I've already made, because you guys see stuff like Vadosbrom for grass, you see stuff like surreal lighting for lighting, and then it adds a lot of flavor to Skyland that otherwise wouldn't be there if you just installed Skyland All-in-One and that was it. So these are all things to consider looking at this mod. It does come down to personal preference. Personally, I think Skyland gives a little bit more of a fantasy look, which really pairs well with something like Mythical Ages or Surreal Light. The other great thing about Skyland is its compatibility with other graphics mods. If there's something that Skyland does or doesn't do that you don't really like, odds are that you can add on to it or overwrite something that's in Skyland that you may not like. This varies on a case-by-case basis, obviously. Always pay attention to mod descriptions, but thought I'd put that in here. Graphics Pack is kind of a hard mod to describe for Skyrim, and it includes a bunch of different things, but in the main mod it is a lot of assets, a lot of city textures, villages, and just kind of miscellaneous stuff, more like particular textures for an item or something like that. You do have to supplement the Graphics Pack with assets, so you have the Graphics Pack Assets 1 and 2, and this is in addition to the main Graphics Pack mod. So all in all, you're out around 2 gigs, and that's a lot of space. And this is before any additions or anything like that. So if you're wanting to do like High Poly Project or a version of the Static Mesh Improvement mod, you're going to have to allot for that space in your load order, and it's definitely worth it. Every clip you see for the Graphics Pack has all of the additions added onto it. The only thing I didn't add was the exterior version of Enhanced Lights and FX, and then I also have Mythical Ages attached as well. So everything in this video will be as you see above on the screen here, and those are all the add-ons that I actually have with the Graphics Pack on right now. You don't need all of these to run the Graphics Pack. I would suggest it if you have the space. If you're on an existing save and want to add the Graphics Pack to your load order with all the add-ons, that might be kind of difficult. You might run into the phantom space bug, but that's okay. You can always clear your reserve space and start anew, which might be a good idea anyways. Now we get to the comparison between both mods, and I'm going to show clips of each mod and then also a few screenshots here and there to show you the comparison between the two in one frame. That way you guys can get a pretty good idea of what you want to install at the end of this video. First thing we'll look at is a tavern, and you can see the differences in the wood texture as well as the stone texture on the ground here, and here's a screenshot to kind of better illustrate that. The big standouts for me, other than lighting, is the wood texture and the stone texture on the ground. It's very apparent that they're two totally different styles, and I think it's really just going to come down to which ones you like better. and the graphics pack is a little bit more of maybe what you would see if you went out and looked at a shore and saw all the rocks and things around. Skyland still looks pretty realistic, and it's just a different type of shoreline here. So you'll see the water is also a different color because the Skyland watercolor is a part of Skyland All-in-One. So that on top of the lighting here, which is surreal lighting, is something to note. Now, Whiterun is actually a really interesting comparison to make. I will link the video above that I did on Skyland Cities, where we take a look at the Skyland version of Whiterun. Aside from the lighting, which can be changed with a mod, the stonework and the walls and woodwork are the big changes here. Moving on to something like Winterhold, where you have a lot of snow. Graphics pack is a little more muted. Skyland actually adds in the cobblestones into the snow, which gives it a really nice look, especially when you have some nice fire effects going on. What I got here is when a dragon attacked the city. And here on the way to Castle Volkihar, we have the graphics pack on the left with Mythical Ages and the Skyland on the right. And as you can see here, aside from the lighting choices, there are some pretty stark differences between the two. And I think this definitely pulls over into the cities of Skyrim as well. As we looked at before with Skyland Cities, we actually went all throughout Riften and saw the differences. Now with something like the graphics pack, you see a lot more muted and kind of subdued look, but it all looks pretty realistic, I guess, if there was an actual Riften, whereas Skyland definitely looks like you just walked into a movie. So graphics pack, a little more subdued. Skyland, definitely something that looks more fantasy-like here, especially. And for the most part, these differences kind of hold true for pretty much every city in the game. Now, the textures, again, landscape textures in the graphics pack are additional, but the cities themselves are actually included in the kind of bulk graphics pack assets. Whereas obviously with Skyland All-in-One, you don't really have to mess around with installing an extra landscape texture mod because it's already included in the All-in-One bundle. Whereas the graphics pack, you do. And because this part isn't actually part of the city of Markarth, you actually do have to install the landscape texture pack in order to see any of this. And you guys will see the same changes kind of here and there, just depending on the location. It's going to be the same stuff, just in a different area. Like here you have the Dawnguard Castle here, which is one of my favorite areas in the game. And you see the changes, and they're pretty much what you would expect now that you've seen a lot in this video, and the comparisons of stuff like just basic geometry of the rock, textures of the ground, and the cities. It all looks very much like one mod or the other. So there's really no like not being able to tell the difference between the two. I mean, I recorded all of these clips and I didn't mark any of them, for example, and I knew exactly which clip was what. And here, I'm not the best at getting footage of in caves and dungeons, but I did try to record some of Skyland and the graphics pack in caves, just so you guys get a pretty good idea of what things look like. The short version is that there's a lot of similar things here that you will see in the cities and the landscapes that we've already shown in the videos. It's something that doesn't need to be gone into too much detail on, but I thought it is important to show it in the video just so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like. So in conclusion, I would probably sum up this video in just one simple statement. I would say that the Skyland All-in-One is something that you would want to go with if you want to go for a more fantasy look, and the graphics pack would be a more kind of down-to-earth look, which, no pun intended, which something that would be natural looking, and maybe if Skyrim was a real place, maybe this is what it would look like in real life. So in this kind of closing segment of the video, I'm not going to put any title cards up top to show you which mod is which. So if you feel like you know the difference at the end of this video and you know what the clips are at the end, then good for you. If not, I would suggest going back and watch and see the main differences of each mod, and then look at these clips again and see which is which. Obviously, a lot of this footage is recorded from clips that I used in the earlier parts, which may give it away, but I think it'd be a good exercise for you to kind of look through and see which is which on your own before you install thousands of megabytes of graphics mods that you don't really like, or just wanted to see what they look like and then figure out that you don't like them, and then you've got a ton of space that you just wasted and a lot of time that you wasted. So if you've stuck around to the end of this video, I appreciate it, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit about each mod and what the differences are, and if you want to use one or the other. Both of these mods are very different, but one thing is true: they make the game of Skyrim even more beautiful. Skyrim didn't really need to be made beautiful, but these mod authors did it, and it looks fantastic. And I love that there are mods like this out there that make Skyrim look even more beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't left a like, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.